can Brian Schottenheimer do to get Dak Prescott back going and in turn this offense?
Well, I think, and I at least thought coming into the season, knowing who Brian Schottenheimer's father is, and Marty Schottenheimer and Marty Ball, and Brian talked about wanting to run the football, and that's kind of in his DNA. I thought that we would see more of the run game than we've seen.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yes, he's peeping it. Yup. Are we peeping it? Are we peeping it? See, this is where you need a channel like this that's going to bring insight to what's going on, to keep us focused. So, once again, it's Boss Show, me bringing you
another one.
And Troy he got his hands on the pulse. He's seeing, because this is where you need to know history, and when you know history, you can see where something is off. And that's what it comes down to. Something is off. So before we get into it, let's first talk about how to help you. You can help yourself with Sleeper app. And go for a Hail Mary. Your Sleeper picks and win up to 100 times your money. Use promo code BCS and Sleeper will 100% match your first deposit up to $100 instantly. So, what was Troy talking about? He was talking about the history of Brian Schottenheimer. And he was like, to me, I will be seeing more based on his history. I should be seeing more. So listen, one more time. Let's go play it one more time.
Troy, you mentioned Brian Schottenheimer and some of his leadership. I felt it's been amazing throughout the season, especially the last 2 weeks. But it's about football tonight. Dak Prescott was playing at an MVP early on in the season as an MVP level, but the last 2 weeks he struggled a bit. What can Brian Schottenheimer do to get Dak Prescott back going and in turn this offense?
Well, I think, and I at least thought coming into the season, knowing who Brian Schottenheimer's father is, and Marty Schottenheimer and Marty Ball, and Brian talked about wanting to run the football, and that's kind of in his DNA. I thought that we would see more of the run game than.
Yep. See, it's almost like somebody knowing you, right? It's certain things you might be able to kind of fool other people with. But when people know you, they like, you not yourself. You're not yourself. I know you smiling. I know you making money, but you're not yourself. And see, this is showing where Aikman is a clear student of the game. And he like, you're not yourself. You're not yourself. I know you. I know where you from. I know what type of identity you have. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. And see, he referenced his dad, right? So, and we showed this a lot, where we went through his whole history of showing not just his dad, but his types. And you see the exact same thing with Schottenheimer throughout history until you get to Dallas. And now all of a sudden it's different. And Aikman peeped it. He like, this is not you. This is not you. What we got to do is we got to say, I agree. This is not who he is. So who is Brian? This is who Brian is.
What do you want your offensive identity to be?
Physical. Again, I talked a little bit in the opening press conference about, the marriage between.
He said, what do you want your identity to be? First thing out his mouth, physical.
The run game and the action passes, but, as a football team, as an offense, we want to be physical. My MO has always been to run the football,
Yep, and that's what Troy was talking about. This is not you. Your MO being off balance. So what's going on now is versus the Raiders, we saw balance. We saw balance for one of the first times. We saw clear balance. If I go look at the passing, 33 attempts. That's exactly what you want to see from Dak. You want to see around 30 to 33. And we got 31 rushing attempts combined. Yep. And you saw Dak have one of his most efficient games. He wasn't hit as much. He was hit, but he wasn't hit as much. So what's going on? What's going on is something that I warned about. Some time ago, and I did a video on this. There's a silent divide going on. There's a silent divide, and Shotty has been keeping it 100, and we are not having his back. I've done videos on both of these where Shotty is clearly lobbying for a tight. So let's listen to him, and then let's break it down.
And then how do guys on, just in your philosophy and how you want to build this team, how do guys on scout team work their way up? What do they need to do to gain your trust and move up their depth chart or whatever it means?
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because, you know, they obviously want to compete and they're going to compete, but there's also things that they have to do in terms of giving us the right look. You know, for example, when you're playing Carolina a couple weeks ago, you know, their defensive line plays completely different than our guys do. And so you're asking these guys, whoever it is, to go out there and become a different opponent and sometimes a different scheme. But that's why we do different things, you know, from we watch everything. We watch individual. We watch, you know, all the competitive periods. We do, you know, good on good stuff in the red zone, which is big for us. But, you know, I'll speak to a guy like Malik Davis, man. I mean, just, you know.
Did anybody ask about Malik Davis? Nope. He brought up Malik Davis on his own.
You know, he found out about 5 minutes before the 90-minute call that he was playing last week. And what did he do? He went out and made 3 tackles, got a game ball today for special teams. And that's the mindset that these guys have to have, because you don't know what's going to happen on game day. Just because you're not getting a lot of reps, you have to be ready, and you have to earn that opportunity, because if you go in there and you don't do well, then that's probably even worse than not getting called up. When you get called up, you have to be ready. You have to seize the opportunity. And a guy like Malik, I used that with the team today. Told him to.
He used Malik Davis as an example to the team. I want y'all to really listen.
The exact story I'm telling you guys. Hey, you know, he was in his locker like, okay, guess I'm not up. And then a couple things happened. We moved some things around, found out Wanye wasn't going to play. And next thing you know, Malik's ready to go and played excellent.
Yeah. So then, and this coming down to balance and Troy peeping, but you got to stay with me. Listen.
Joe White, Dallas Morning News. Jaden Blue had the most carries of his young career so far. Had a 14-yard run, also had a fumble. What do you make of his performance on Sunday, and how important is it, as the season goes on with Javonte, to try and identify someone who can spell him pretty consistently?
Yeah, again, I think, you know, you hit it best. I mean, Jaden was inconsistent in the game. He did some really good things, and there were some other things that he's got to do at a higher level. You know, the fumble was a good hit. You know, he needs to hold on to the ball, and actually our combination block was supposed to come off to it, and it didn't. So, again, that's a blocking issue. Again, he can continue to play and emphasize playing more physical with and without the ball. That's real. That's a young back learning. The speed of the game, the physicality of the game. But to me, I'm always going to go back to the consistency. You know, you can't put the ball on the ground. You have to, you know, be on top of your blitz pickups. You have to do those things. And the big thing I've told him about is, like, you've got the perfect guy sitting right to your left in Javonte to learn from, who was you a couple years ago as a young rookie trying to figure it out, and you know, lean on him. You know, Javonte does everything right, and so Jaden's doing that. But again, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about, you know, Malik Davis and the.
Damn, did anybody ask about? He brought him up on his own again.
Job he's doing for us, and we're all about creating competition. It's not just creating competition on the defensive side of the ball for jobs and who's going to play. It's on offense as well, and that would be another battle to watch.
He said that would be another battle to watch. The battle between Blue and Malik Davis. And he brought it up on his own. So let me just ask y'all a question. Your head coach, brings up Malik Davis on his own twice. Your head coach uses Malik Davis as an example to the whole team of how to be a pro. But then historically, when they was trying to make room for Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson, it was Malik Davis that was cut. Yeah, of course he was brought back, but who would do that? Who would do that? It's pretty obvious who would do that. Stephen Jones. This war, I'm telling y'all, it's a silent, quiet war going on. And that's what took, honestly, Brian Schottenheimer so long to get the balance. Because he doesn't have trust for the RB2. He doesn't. So he can't make Williams get all those carries. He can't and won't do that. This is a war between Stephen Jones. And Brian is not having his way. He's not being allowed to cook. I showed this 100 times, but we need to know this so we can lobby for Brian. It was Will McClay that made the blue pick. So think about it. You know how you can tell it's a clear divide? Now, y'all cut Davis, right? Y'all cut Davis. But when it came down who was going to be on that active roster for the Raiders, Blue wasn't on there. Those are obviously two different decisions. So somebody made the decision to cut Malik Davis, but then somebody else made the decision to not make Jadon Blue active. I'm seeing a tug-of-war, y'all. And Troy peeped it. Troy peeped it. I don't think he got the why exactly right, but he was like, this is not your style. I know you. I know your daddy. Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah, your offense is doing this and that. But I've been knowing football enough. I've been knowing you enough. I've been knowing your whole family enough to know when you are yourself. So I'm glad we beat the Raiders. But Cowboy Nation, we need to aim higher and we got to push harder. Because to win it all, we can't let none of this stuff slip. And we slipping. I'm going to be all the way honest. If we don't get behind Brian Schottenheimer, we are slipping and we are not allowing Brian to cook. That's the campaign to the Dallas Cowboys. Get out the way, man. Get out this man's way. And you still need to go focus and get him another RB2, even better than Malik Davis. You're not doing them right. We need an RB duo, and it's still not too late. And if you really go do right by your head coach, get out of his way so that we can see the balance that we saw with the Raiders. It's your boy Boss Show Me, bringing you another one because I want to give y'all the truth.
Another one.
Until the next time, I'm out.